Okay, so moving on to the side view, keep in mind that just because the view changes, the proportions remain the same. So the same double square measurement that we started with at the beginning applies here. And the end result, and this is obviously a boring static pose, but we could learn the forms that we need to draw, the main lines we need to learn from the side. You're probably never going to draw exact side view in a painting, but it's good to know the side views. And so when you compare the front and side view, you can kind of your brain can almost imagine if you're looking at her from the side, what might it look like. But it's good to memorize these forms so we know for sure. But everything is pretty much going to be the same. Where you see the elbows, it's pretty much coming right about at the curve. If you curve it down like that, see it's right about a little bit above the belly button. The wrist just slightly above the mid section there, and the hands go just below the lowest point, which would be there. Okay, so I'm going to show a picture of a side here, and I had to paint her in because of the YouTube, and let's see if it shows. So you can see this the shapes, and that's I like to show photos for you can kind of see the shapes, and so you have this kind of shape like that kind of, remember that kind of shape right there. So you have that kind of shape. Anyway, and then you have this kind of M shape there. So I want to memorize that. So you have this kind of pooch comes out for the pooch that comes out for the belly. And then of course you have the rib cage, so you have her rib cage, which is gonna come like that, whatever. Remember from the front view, the rib cage goes like that, and then comes up around. So we know from the side view, then you have to have that part here, which comes like this, and then it comes up. And then you have, that's that part of the rib cage like that. And then you memorize that bump like that. You have this line that comes up too a little bit. And then you have your muscle comes like that. And the muscle here kind of comes out, and then it kind of comes out right here. So it's not just a straight line. It kind of has that little bump, so almost like a slight M. But usually I think it looks good if it just kind of comes out and it has that slight bump like that. Anyway. And of course the calves will be the same. So you have from this view, the outer calf and the fronter calf like that. So from the side view, the back calf is going to appear to start higher and be longer. Okay, so I think that's good for that picture. Let's go ahead and get started then. And so notice you have that kind of M shape. And what I did here also is I added, I'm on the wrong layer. So this is the basic shapes layer. You have, I have the rib coming out. And then sometimes you have, depending on the lady, you can actually have an extra M&M shape, not M&M, M shape there. But it really depends. So if they have slightly a little bit more fat tissue, and just depending on the girl's body, it would be like so. And then you'd have the rib there. And remember the rib cage would then come here and like that. Okay. So let's start memorizing these shapes then. So first thing, again, we're going to do is we're going to start out with our rectangle. And you would go ahead and we draw a rectangle in there. Same as before. You don't have to do the X. We'll go ahead and do the X through it though. And remember, technically the belly button then would be about there or whatever. And so that's going to get you at that kind of bend where the hips start. So you know that that's about where, and from the side view, then that's going to be about where that where the tummy starts to, kind of come out like that. Remember about halfway, the halfway mark up, and then you'd have that almost, so this length right here, you'd almost have that same length coming up, but not quite as, quite as high. I can see it here, but just we have to remember that's how it is. And so for the side head, I can draw a circle, and then I could kind of draw this shape like this, like an oval connecting to a circle. And then the neck actually comes off of that at this, at an angle like that. It doesn't come straight. It comes at an angle. So remember, the neck doesn't come straight down. You can kind of see this angle here. Okay, then you have the same shape again. We can move this over here for out of the way. That same shape, it's going to be about the same length, or not about, it's going to be the same length as the top rectangle. And that halfway mark, you have almost that same length. Okay, so now I have the length of my person, and I know about where things are going to go. I know that my ankle is going to be about there. And so from the side view, there's slightly different things that you're going to draw when you do a side view. And the first thing then we're going to want to draw is, from the side view, it's like the basic head shape, which I have there. And I'm going to see here, I'm going to kind of zoom in. So again, start with like drawing a circle, and then just kind of draw an oval. That's gonna, and then I'm gonna draw the neck coming straight down like this. I can draw then a, it depends if her shoulder's pulled back. See here, her shoulder's pulled back. I think that looks cooler, and it's more natural. But you can also draw it, straight in the like that. You can also even draw it forward. So it just depends, but I'm going to draw it back. So for that, then I'm going to draw my circle, and I'm going to kind of angle it in the way that the shoulder's going to go, like that. And I'm going to draw the kind of the shape of like this kind of oval here. And remember that to remember where everything's going to fall in. And I'm not drawing exactly on the squares. The squares are just there for, I know about where things are going to go. So I know that this halfway mark between this big square is about where the, remember the breast, if you go from here to here, you have this, if this was a front view, that would be the crotch. And we know that that same length up, if you follow that same length up, that's about where you get the breast, right? So we know the breast would start right about there. And we know that the ribcage starts right underneath that from the front view, and so it has to come, it has to come down like this and around. So we know that from the side view, it's going to be about like that. Then I could draw in about where I know the circle, about where the breast would be, just where I have something there to look at. I know this where the belly button is, pretty much a little bit above that. I'm going to have my arm, so I can kind of draw a line like so, and I know that my arm, the bend in the arm would be about there, and then it comes down to about this halfway mark where the wrist would be. Then I'd have my hand like that. I'm almost out of time. I was hoping to. Okay. Anyway, the next shape then you want to remember from the side view is you kind of want to remember the flow. It's really important. So you have your head. I'm out of time. Then you have your flow here, your flow there, and we'll get back to this. All right. Leave comments.